Rajiv. Thank you for having me over.
Awesome. Sireesha, where are you calling in from today?
I'm in Dallas, Texas, in the United States.
Cool. So you're at a warmer place than I am. I'm in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's actually
so
quite warm here today. It's about 93 degrees. So it's very unusual,
it
but I'm like,
is. Yeah, me too. I would have. It's actually pretty good here too as well. So, Sirisha, I love what you do on technology. I checked out your LinkedIn profile. We've talked quite a bit about your journey. I would love to know, you know, your journey to where you are right now. And as a follow-up question, I would want to know what exactly do you do on a day-to-day basis? So maybe just take us back, when you started your journey and how you got here.
oh, yes, I would love to talk about that. It all started with a game show I fell in love with in a TV show in the 90s called The Crystal Maze. It's a UK based game show, and I would never miss a episode of it when it broadcasted on Sunday mornings. So it's all about like the game show had different themes in it, like medieval theme, futuristic theme, and different zones where players would run to and crack some codes and solve puzzles of different flavors, like mystery type, or physical, or mental, or something that requires skill, like like archery or whatever. So I really enjoyed the thrill of that, the nature of how they showed problem solving in a fun gaming environment. So I wanted to build something like that when I grew up, and understand how I can combine my other interest, which used to be coding at that time, and with game development and coding, I wanted to bring it together and build my own theme park when I grew up. It all started there. So to do that, I had to understand how to be a problem solver, how to learn how to code. I started from the basics, of how to understand coding, and what it would take to build a theme park, and what else would I need to bring them all together. So my I wouldn't say I have built a theme park yet, but I'm still
Yes.
continuing my journey towards that. But it all started from that, that piqued my interest into technology. Now I did major in engineering, and I did migrate from United States from India, where I grew up. And here I always naturally, because I wanted to build something from scratch, have leaned with working with the startup companies, like small to mid-sized companies. That's where, like, if you go through my LinkedIn profile, you can see a chronicle order of all the small to mid-sized companies that I worked with. I tried to the the fit with startups and small size companies has been very attractive to me, because I could try to understand building something end to end in the early
True.
stage,
Yeah.
building something, and then giving them an exit after a year or two has been my usual professional path so far. So from there, taking the similar lean building concepts, I've applied it to mid-sized companies too, to help them grow, to build prototypes and scale them and everything else. And now I'm the CTO for AdMedia. It's actually a 26-year-old company, but I've been with them since close to 4.5 years now. But I apply similar principles, and it has been successful so far.
So wait, am I reading this correct that you're still coding or reviewing the code?
I do. I have
Wow.
to. I do it because there is no way for me to run away from it. I enjoy still reviewing code. I enjoy to understanding the nuts and bolts of the system, because honestly, I want to be real here. That is the one
Yes.
way for me to deep dive and understand the system inside out. And that's my style. And
I love
people
that.
People like working with me because of my liking towards doing all the nuts and bolts stuff.
I like that. On your LinkedIn, I read that you are a simple technologist, and
Yes.
the keyword here you used is you want to be real. That is such a powerful thing because it's like I remember when I became a director of tech, I lost touch with development because I wasn't really coding anymore. So, and it's really hard to do code review when you're not coding.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to hire the right people to help me because I was managing up and so that's really interesting. So tell us about what do you do today at AdTech?
So the um, the products and the vertical I'm in is advertising space, digital advertising. And digital advertising is, in very simple terms, being a simple technologist, let me explain it, is we work with two entities, advertisers and publishers. Advertisers want their ads to be displayed on publisher websites. That's it. Very simple. That is the fundamental concept, and that is a vertical I work in, and I love it. And other logistics that come into play is how monetization works with advertisers and publishers, and how we as an ad exchange make money and grow our business. So my role here is to architect and design uh, how uh, how how the technology platform, which is the AdServer, is always stable, is backed up, is reliable. It is able to process terabytes. It is able to process 300 queries per second and still deliver, and not and is resilient across various data centers we have, and design code in a way that is scalable, um, and reusable, easily being able to refactor and work with a team of amazing engineers to make all that happen.
So let me pause, let me interrupt you there. One question, we had a customer in ad space and they had to build so many different integration points, and when we were helping them, they were having a lot of scaling challenges because of the integration constantly failing, and their teams were all over the place, very remote teams. And I believe you also have remote teams. You have a fairly large team, and based on what you just said, terabyte worth of data. Tell us about scaling. Talk in real terms, like what technology are you using, why your technologies are working, and most importantly, is at what point did you realize that if you don't do it, and if suddenly the business grows, you could crash and burn. So
Yes,
walk through that.
yes. So let me talk about how the tech stack first, then we can talk about teams and how we collaborate. I really don't like to be reducing our tech stack to one technology name, like a PHP or a Java or Python. We try to pick the best tool to achieve the optimal and the best problem solving solution. So, for example, part of our code is in Java, some of it is in Python, some of majority of it is in PHP. But each programming language and the tech tool that we pick has its own limitations sometimes with respect to throughput or processing, or the caching tools that can be configured like based on their eviction policies or whatever. So we try to pick the one that is the best, easiest, fastest, and easy to maintain. So I would like to say we have tried to apply the most common ones available out there, which I already mentioned: Java, Python, and PHP.
So
And
common sense approach.
common sense approach, because things change every 6 months. And we try to keep up. We don't want to rewrite everything and revamp everything that often as well. We want to make sure our fundamental algorithms and the ad exchange that we built is already solid and works well with the tools that we pick. So we love Redis. Redis is one tool that we use extensively, and it's quite popular out there. We use PHP and Java. and some part of something that looks like a JavaScript, but it is not, is Luva. That is another language that we use. Those are the building, one of the building blocks. The other part is the MySQL database, PostgreSQL, Cassandra. All these are like the data stores that we use to collect data. We also extensively use event-driven technology that can gather all the information of the events that happen, like Kafka and everything, for pipelining our data. So apart from these, we maintain some own, we have our own and operated websites like leisure.com, stockprices.com, rebates.com, that we own and operate and build. They all extensively use PHP again and some part of JavaScript in them. So it's
So
pretty simple. Yeah.
that's pretty simple actually. So tell me, how are you processing, you said like 3 terabyte data or 300,000
Yes.
transactions per minute. Is it
Yes.
all using Kafka infrastructure or are you using some custom secret program that you built over the years?
It's a combination of both, but majority of it is Kafka. So that's just easy for us to create instances of that to have various topics that different modules in our system subscribe to and obtain information about events. So
So Kafka is pretty cool, solid tool. It has come a long way. Are you using Kafka in on-prem or are you using Kafka in cloud, or are you looking at any Kafka competitors in cloud as well?
right now, majority of our systems are hosted on our own servers. So it is cloud, but not really external cloud like
Like a
Oracle.
private cloud.
It's our private because we find that is the best use of our money and resources at the moment, and it is working fine. However, we do take advantage sometimes with AWS to have our data backed up, and sometimes like for resiliency only on demand basis.
Okay.
So yes.
So, Sirisha, if you look at last 4 or 5 years or last 12 years of your leadership journey, how do you motivate your remote teams? How do you convince them to build the right infrastructure and reduce the technical debt? Because it's like no one watching and people are just, everyone has a hard deadlines to go and then
Yes.
people just cut corners. So walk through that.
Yeah. So first thing is, if every task is a top priority, then nothing is a top priority. So we sit down and we analyze what is the most in the order of client facing to customer satisfaction. Those kind of tasks always come first for us to solve, and then we go down on the basis of feature development, bug fixes, and other things. One thing, it will sound very cliche to say this probably, but somebody's got to say it, is to give autonomy. Give autonomy to every developer or everybody in the team. They are all hired for a reason. We trust them that the task and the work gets done despite being remote. Giving them all the autonomy to make a decision for problem solving, giving them all the tools and understanding to for them to figure out a solution, but at the same time not giving forever time to do it, at a reasonable
Yeah.
time, like a couple of days or so. And eh, so this all starts with when we begin interviewing the candidates itself to join us. We look
So
for a mentality that they are able to figure out things by themselves.
that was my next question is giving them autonomy, but then verifying that they are not misusing that autonomy, right?
Yes. So
And
I'm not, yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to scrutinize every minute of their time or install softwares on their computers to see if they're working and being alert or not. I don't care if they have a sick kid to take care of. Yes, of course, we are all human beings. Take an hour off to go attend, go to the pharmacy or whatever, or take your dog out for a walk. But we try to be practical there and just trust our employees to get work done, and it has been It's been fine. It's been, we are post COVID now. We did all this even prior to COVID. Majority of our teams are offshore as well. So the it all comes down to having faith in the process, that we pick a path here, that we want a certain task, certain feature to be built, and we take a day or two to analyze. Because we are remote, we can't really whiteboard everything out, so we take time to think about it, and then do a group discussion, make it brief. It doesn't have to be wasting everyone's 2 hours or 3 hours of time. Then we figure out a solution and we go implement it and finish working on the feature.
How how do you build that high performing team? So if I am a new hire in your team, I come from a different team, and there I was given autonomy, but no one checked, so I was being lazy. What do you do different where you convert a regular person to a high performing team? Or do you have a lot of times where you have to let people go because they're not performing?
That let me start with how we make it happen. And our attrition rate is pretty good, actually. We don't have a lot of employees leaving, because of, I think, one style that we at least in my team that we employ is, first, we pay them well. Okay, it, let's face it, it all comes down to the package they're taking home. Second, we give them a few hours of flexibility in their work hours. Third, we
Like
try to,
tell me about that part when you say few hours of flexibility.
yes. So currently, we, the consensus the team came up with is they would love to work in the morning from 6:30 onwards up until 2:30 or 3 in their time zone. So
Interesting.
yes, so that, some of them who weren't morning people have also become morning people now, and they are able to be more productive. They have some silent time in the mornings, or around noon or so. So they get a lot of work done that way. It also overlaps with our US hours and other time zone hours for us to be able to have our other stand-up calls and other quick discussions, whatever.
But how?
So
Because 6:30 morning will be pretty late here, and then they won't be available at night for calls. So how do you deal with that?
no, that's not true at all. When push comes to shove, the all employees are available for a call if needed, and they rise to the occasion. So we are always alert. We have that is the beauty of coders, is we try to automate and make sure that all our monitoring and alerts are up to date. So
I
we get
see.
alerts on time, even if, like, we just had some alerts over the weekend, and we just stepped up and took charge of it and resolved and put things in control quickly. So that is one thing. Is, like I said, we try to hire people who really want the job, not just for the sake of being a coder or a technologist, but they really care about the product. And I realized, to make them care for the product, they need to understand how their work directly influences the revenue of the company.
And how do
So
you make that happen? How,
so when they hire, yeah, when they are hired, we do onboarding process.
what are the steps? Can walk me through that. Is
Yes,
there something that you can share to the greater audience that we can all
yes.
learn? Because getting work done from remote teams, especially working from home, that's getting harder and harder. And so a
It,
lot of people are laying off. I mean, we look at Facebook or Google, they laid off like 10,000, 12,000 people because they want to be leaner and be more productive. And
mhm.
what you're sharing is completely contrary to that. So I'm really curious.
Yeah, so I think, let's talk about the big companies and their layoffs. I think it's a different subject altogether for their reasons, I guess. But at least the way we onboard is, I talk to the person during orientation about how how each of the core projects is related to generating revenue, and how their contribution will directly impact it. So at least in the nature of ad tech, every second we can make or lose money. That's how fast things work. We can burn $1 million in 30 minutes, for example. So it's very crucial to understand for them how their work, every line of code that they write, and that requires them to be very careful about and unit test and do a sanity test when a code goes live, is to make sure it is written for a purpose. It's not a simple if else condition. There is a reason. If you have written a if else condition, are you taking into consideration of race conditions and other edge cases, all those things? So uh, we have developed extensive video training and documentation about all the core projects. And anyone who's working on the technical projects, it is compulsory for them to go through the whole training material to understand how each of these core projects relate to each other and what's going on when they touch the code and add something to it or do a bug fix. So that's one thing. So I have discovered that once the new employee understands how important they are to the company, no matter what their position is, junior or a senior or a lead or director, once they understand the criticality of their role, automatically the seriousness and um, um, they become serious about their work and communicating, and they send me a daily status report. So that's one way we keep track of and be on the same page. And it's not something just for the sake of documentation, but it is a tracking for the person employee and also for the managers.
Cool.
It
Uh,
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Tell me a little bit about what are you guys doing anything for AI, machine learning? Where do you see how it will impact your business? And really, like in terms of what, how it can actually solve some critical problems in your business, not only in a positive way, but also in a negative way.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And we definitely are keeping up with the AI and machine learning. Definitely our ad servers at some point, even before all this GTP and all other things have become buzzwords, we have been using it. Any company that writes algorithms that continuously runs to change data real time, it's really machine learning, if you really think about it at the top level. But with the onset of AI and ML taking charge, we are definitely incorporating those concepts into our business. Our ad server is basically machine language powered at its core. We have to real time bid for ad placements to happen. So all of that is already in place. We also have an AI ad unit that any publisher can place on their website. It's like a chatbot where you can have you can get a personalized interaction and discussion about the website. Like for example, if a website is talking about coupons, like a Groupon or coupons.com, they can place our ad unit where the end user can get a personal attention to interact with the chatbot and obtain the codes for a merchant that they're interested with.
And it's all chat GPT driven, or is it all AI, or
Actually, it is AI, and some of them is also proprietary to us because we try to also promote the merchants we work with,
yes, okay.
our advertisers in our interest too. And that is of interest to the website owners also because they also monetize based on the user interaction and the clicks and the conversions that happen.
One tough question I have for you.
Yeah.
As AI machine learning starts to write code, where do you see your team members who write code? What will their place be? Will you be replacing them or aiding them with like Microsoft Copilots type of solutions?
For sure, I will not replace them. I don't see the need for it at all because AI, it's not really, we definitely use it to help it to check our syntaxes and everything too. There are little nonsense here and there that I still feel the AI cannot do for us. For example, there could be some exceptions in the code that only we are aware of and we understand how that should function.
Yeah.
And the AI writes a generic algorithm and format for us that we can tweak and take advantage of. But like AI right now is in a stage where it can help us understand A equal to B, B equal to C, so A equal to C. That much AI is able to do it for us right now, but it's not. I can ask it to write functions and give me pseudocode and algorithms, but I still see the need for me and my developers to write code that works for my company in a way it should work.
Awesome.
So yeah.
This is perfect, Sirisha. Thank you so much. Quick follow-up questions on that. Just rapid fire. Any books you're recommending or reading?
Yes, I do. There is one thing I think it's really not a technology book or anything. It's about mindset. It's called a Hi-Fi Habit by
Hi-Fi
Mel
Habit.
Robbins. Yeah, it's just very
I
simple.
love the
It's
name.
um, by Mel Robbins. I
That's cool.
it's just high-fiving yourself in the mirror every day.
I love
And
it.
yeah, so it's high-fiving is just not merely slapping hands together, but it's communicating more than
That's
that.
wonderful. Any
So
apps on your phone that you can't live without, or any favorite apps?
I really like all the health tracking apps on my phone, but there are other apps that like I work with some fitness coaches and others, so they all use apps that I really now I can't think about living without them. But really, I'm not too hooked to the mobile device and the apps. I'm not really a gamer or anything. It's ironic because I want to build a game theme park at some point in life, but yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite was WhatsApp, and then I deleted it one day. And then my family was screaming, it's like, no, you gotta have your app back so we can call you. All right. Any favorite movie or shows that you're watching or you liked so far?
uh, I really like the Silicon Valley show on
I loved
HBO.
it. It was one
Uh,
of my favorites.
yeah, it's good. It's very practical and where any I think everyone can relate to it in some
Yes,
aspect. But I really enjoy like I like The Office. I enjoy listening to again Mel Robbins podcasts, and I like public speaking, so I keep up to date with the tips and tricks from other professional coaches online.
cool. Any tips and productivity tips that you can share that others can use?
Yeah, become a morning person, really
Tell me
seriously.
more about it.
The way you set your the tone for your day starts with 5 minutes in the morning. So
Mm,
it's the small things that you can do, like high-fiving yourself, working your dreams matter. So spending 5 minutes to 30 minutes, lousy 5 to 10 minutes too, it's totally worth it because we all deserve to work towards our big life goals and dreams. And the day starts and it carries away other things tend to take higher priority, but just spending those 5 to 10 minutes towards planning your day and taking a minor small inch forward if you can towards your life goals and other big dreams you have is totally worth it. And that can set the tone for the rest of your day.
like getting 1% or 0.01% better every day, right?
Yeah, it
That's,
doesn't matter. Yeah, it can be 0.0001. I don't care.
I agree.
But you are doing something for yourself in that 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and that matters.
I totally agree with you. Awesome. Sirisha, thank you so much for making time. This has been great. Appreciate it and good luck.
Thank you so much, Rajiv.
All right. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.